Joe Dunn.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Big Time Sports. If you're a high school football fan, you have come to the right place because exactly 2 weeks from tonight, we begin the 2025 high school football season. I am pleased to be having Mr. Troy Richardson with me right now. I call him Professor of Football because he loves high school football. He knows high school football. You'll be able to listen to him and watch him on our high school football Games of the Week right here on Big Time Sports. And Troy, I know you're excited about the upcoming season.
Very excited about the upcoming season, Joe. The long-awaited national nightmare is almost over. High school football is coming back to Ohio. 2 weeks away, Joe. Kicking it off on a Thursday night. There's just something about high school football in Ohio. It doesn't matter if you're at a big school or a small school. It's the marching band. It's the cheerleaders. It's the grandparents come. My high school football coach told our team something when I played that has stuck with me forever. And I've told my players this when I coached. There are people who their entire week will revolve around coming to watch you play a game. That they'll spend their hard-earned money, and folks, as you know, with inflation and what the economy's like, it's hard to earn that money. They're going to take that money and spend it to watch you play the game of football. So you better go out there and put on a show.
You're absolutely right. For a lot of the communities throughout Stark County and Ohio, it is not only a football game, it is a social event. People come and meet each other maybe for the first time all week. So high school football is back. Hope you enjoy it. If you are a follower of Big Time Sports, remind you to tune in every Thursday night and Saturday morning. We'll have a different high school football coach and players, review the upcoming week, and just have a lot of fun talking high school football with a different high school football team each week. Then we'll have our play-by-play coverage. You can go to BigTimeSportsOhio.com and pick up our schedule, which brings us to our opening week explosion of high school football coverage right here on Big Time Sports. It all begins on Thursday, August 21st. I'll be over at Canton Central Catholic along with Dave Sheets to bring you the game between Perry and Canton Central Catholic. The very next night, I'm really looking forward to this game. I'll be over at Green along with Troy Richardson to bring you the game between Green and Indian Valley. That should be a good one, Troy.
Yeah, if you would have told me, I played in the Federal League, I played in the IVC way back when for Garaway. If you'd have said when I was in high school that you would see an Inter-Valley Conference team like a Garaway and Indian Valley playing a Federal League powerhouse, I'd have thought you were crazy. But Indian Valley, coming off that state championship game, got to go to Green, play the Bulldogs, play Coach Mark Geis's team on the road. That is a great opener for both teams.
Now the third game this week coming up in the opening weekend will be Louisville at New Philly. Charlie Jones has a call on that one. That should be another good one.
Yeah, Louisville, they're trying to build the program up. Coach is in his second, third year trying to get the numbers back up. They're going to be going into a new conference in a couple years, which I think is going to be great for the Leopards. But going on the road, playing New Philly, going to be tough, but it's going to be a good opener for both those teams to be tested.
In addition to those three TV games in week number one, some of the other big matchups in the opening week, how about Glenville at Massillon? Wow, what a matchup that'll be. Bookta will be at Hoover. Lake will be down at a very good South Range team. McKinley over at Warren Harding. Chardon will be at Jackson. Norton will be at Northwest. So all those great games coming up the first weekend of the season. How about new coaches in the area for 2025? Renzi Parnell is now the new football coach, head coach at McKinley. He comes over from Hoban. Spencer Leno is the new head coach at Perry. He comes over from Massillon. And our good friend Zach Slates is now the head coach at Minerva. So not a lot of turnover this year in high school football head coaches.
No, a lot of stability this year within Stark County, within our area, which is a great sign, but it shows you the quality of coaches that we had. And a lot of these openings tend to come from coaches retiring, wanting to step away from it. But 3 coaches going to 3 new schools, I think have an opportunity to build and put their own mark on their programs.
Exactly. Hey, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll begin our quick preview and analysis of 2025 Stark County football. We'll begin with the Federal League, so don't go away. We're back with more Big Time Sports after this timeout.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota.
sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Ferris Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
You're only as good as your people. And what we've done here is that we've created a culture where people flourish.
We don't want it to be a transaction. We want it to be something where there's a consultative approach, a relationship that allows us to really, one, ensure our customer the right way, but then two, to let them understand the value of getting to work with us.
It's an extreme amount of satisfaction for this team that we have right now. We've developed a team that is solely based on relationships.
Rabbit Landscaping is Northeast Ohio's premier residential and commercial landscaping establishment in Jackson Township. They provide an ample amount of services including landscape design, hardscapes, deck and fence installations, outdoor lighting, lawn maintenance, leaf removal, and snow removal. Rabbit Landscaping aims to provide a quality, trustworthy landscaping service to your area. Call for a free quote at 330-936-7616.
Okay, welcome back to a special edition of Big Time Sports. Joe Dunn along with Troy Richardson as we kind of analyze and preview what to expect during the 2025 football season right here in Stark County. Let's start with the Federal League because we'll be covering a lot of Stark County high school football primarily in the Federal League. Troy, let's do a quick review of what happened in the Federal League last year. It was McKinley and Jackson tying for the championship. Both were 5-1 in the league.
Yeah, and that was kind of a surprise for a lot of people who maybe weren't in the know about Jackson coming up with head coach Jay Rohr coming out, tying for that Federal League championship with McKinley. I look for Jackson again this year to surprise some more people. I know Coach Rohr has wanted to beef up his schedule, try to get some better teams on the competition, which I love. And you know, Kent McKinley, new head coach, maybe a little bit different style. He's trying to look at his personnel, trying to plug and play, see who he can put in the best positions to be successful.
It was kind of a logjam in the middle of the Federal League last year because you had a lot of teams at 3-3, Green 3-3, Hoover was 3-3, Perry 3-3, Lake 3-3. So a lot of teams that challenged each other, but it was McKinley and Jackson that won it. Then Glen Oak unfortunately went 0-6.
Yeah, and really other than that outlier, Glen Oak, every other team in the league was competitive with those top two teams within a touchdown or two,
right,
going into the last 4 or 5 minutes where the game wasn't decided right up into the very end. We did that Hoover-Jackson game. Hoover led most of the game, went right down to the wire. Jackson pulls out the win. Hoover was right there too with them. You've got Lake able to hang with those teams. So really, you look up top and you think, oh, they were both 5-1, then 3-3. There wasn't that big of a difference. Ball goes one way or another. And that's what I like with the Federal League is the coaching is so good, the players are good, that there isn't that big of a discrepancy other than Glen Oak. And you know, Coach Garcia, he's trying to get the program back on his feet, trying to get the numbers out, and trying to get the kids at Glen Oak to play football again.
The way I like to analyze teams coming into the 2025 season is taking a look at the quarterbacks that are coming back. You can't win unless you got a good quarterback and play good defense. So let's kind of talk about the quarterbacks that are coming back. Let's start with Jackson. Senior Lucas Eckerman is back. Hopefully he's 100% healthy. He's had some knee problems, but if Eckerman is healthy and back to the form we saw him as a sophomore, Polar Bears will be pretty good.
Well, I like Eckerman. We had a chance to watch him start his first ever varsity game as a freshman against his big rival, North Canton Hoover. And I love how he's progressed, his improvement, his poise. You could really see a difference, even from his freshman to sophomore year, but then again from his sophomore to junior year. And like you said, he's going to be healthy. And I'm excited for that young man. And I'm excited for what the Polar Bears can do this year.
Let's take a look at Green. They've got an outstanding quarterback coming back. Tyson Hunka is now in his third year as a starting quarterback. You remember, he came in after the Green quarterback got hurt his sophomore. He took over that Green team as a sophomore. He's a veteran. He threw for 2,076 yards and 17 touchdowns last year, ran for another 486 and 4. Tyson Hunka may be underrated, but he's one of the best in the Federal League.
He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife back there at quarterback. He can throw, he can run. They'll run a little bit of an option at time with him with their spread, but one thing with Coach Guys, he'll run a 5 wide spread, but he'll also do that to set up the run. Everyone thinks it's pass, pass, pass. they'll run on you. They'll count the numbers in the box, and they'll make those adjustments based on what the defense gives them.
At Hoover, they welcome back senior quarterback John Collins. Big, strong, 6'3" kid, may end up playing tight end in college. They have to keep him healthy, though.
They've got to keep him healthy. They've got to be able to protect him. He can throw. He's shown the ability to run as well. He's improved. He's made big steps forward, but I like he's got a big frame. He can take some hits, and he's not afraid to lower the shoulder and run the football.
Over at McKinley, we talked about the new coach, Lindsey Parnell, come up from Hoban. Well, they've got a transfer quarterback. Where from? Hoban. His name is Trent Hayden, 6 foot 180, threw for 1,000 yards last year at Hoban. Hoban's got a new quarterback coming in, as they seemingly do every year, but last year's quarterback, now McKinley. We'll be interested to see how he fits in with the Bulldogs.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. You know, you're at your school, you get a player brought in over top of you. You decide to make that move to another school. McKinley needed a quarterback. One of the coaches you're familiar with is there. He's going to make that move. Look for him. When you've got a 1,000-yard passer coming back, he might not have been in that school or that program. That's still a nice piece to have to start building your team around. And at McKinley, you're always going to have good, strong offensive linemen. That can help establish the run and take a little bit of pressure off the quarterback as well.
Over at Lake, junior quarterback Ty DeGeorge looks to me like he's going to be the starting quarterback. I think DeGeorge is ready for a blowout season. We saw him last year as a sophomore do some great things. Extremely athletic, very fast, shifty. They had him at quarterback. I think he'll take over that team, and I'm looking for Ty DeGeorge to have a breakout year.
Well, whenever you got your coach's son at the quarterback position, it's someone who understands the game. He's been in the film sessions. He's been around it literally his entire life. So I think that gives you a key there. The big thing for Lake is the injuries. They've seemed to always be right there at the plays, but fourth, fifth grade, somebody goes down. And when your numbers are low like they've had, it's tough to replace those guys, some of those two-way players. So for Lake, and they say in football, you're going to get injured, you're going to get dinged up. They just can't have those key injuries and be forced to go down the line too deep.
Over at Glen Oak, head coach Scott Garcia will welcome back a young guy who played last year as a sophomore. Junior quarterback Evan Chrissy threw for 286 yards and a couple TDs. They like him over at Glen Oak. He's got some experience, but they need a quarterback to break out this year.
Well, they need a quarterback to break out, a running back to break out. They just need somebody to break out to get something going for the Golden Eagles to try to return them to their winning ways. I mean, you look at it, you're the first or second largest school in the Federal League numbers-wise. You just got to get the players out. You got to keep them eligible, keep them out of trouble. And I know that's a big thing for Coach Garcia over there. And he's trying to build it. He's trying to do it the right way and keep everything moving in a positive direction and give a good, stable environment for those players. Over
at Perry, a new head coach, Spencer Leno, as we mentioned, comes over from Massillon. No more wing T at Perry. They're going to run a traditional offense, going to like to run the football. The big question is, who will be the quarterback at Perry? Who will be the running backs? Perry, kind of an unknown right now.
That's the unknown factor when you're totally revamping your offense, a new head coach. But one thing with Perry you're always going to have is good offensive linemen, some good size, and they return a few of those offensive linemen, return a pretty good defense as well. Look for Perry to obviously throw a little bit more here. I think they're going to rely more on the run, just as they try to sprinkle in the pass a little bit more as it goes. Spread you out, try to use some formations to try to put the defenses in negative positions to try to get those matchups that you want at the receiver position to be able to throw the football.
Let's talk now about who we think can be the favorites and who you think will be a breakout year in the Federal League. I really like Lake this year. They've got Ty DeGeorge, who I think will be an outstanding quarterback. Remember last year, Lake lost some really close games. At the end of the season, they got really, really good. I think they beat Green in week number 10, came back and won again, and then they played Hoban very tough in the playoffs. They only lost, I think, by a touchdown up at Hoban. So they're poised, I think, to really challenge for a league championship this year.
I like Lake too. The big thing is, can they sustain it through the entire Federal League play? You're going through 6 hard games in the league. Plus, you know, they open up with South Range. I mean, even though they're looking at South Range, well, they're Division 5, but they're a Division 5 power that they're playing. They're not a rum-drum school. So it's got to be, can they handle the injuries? And when you're a school like Lake with lower numbers, it just gets tougher to handle those, as we've seen in the past years. Now, this could be the year, a little bit more depth, and I hope so for the Blue Streaks, but that's the thing they've got to contend with.
I like Lake a lot in the Federal League. Then we got McKinley, the new coach. You mentioned Lindsey Parnell coming in from Hoban. McKinley will always have skilled athletes. They'll be tough. They'll be very physical. Interesting to see how McKinley will be. I talked to a lot of people. They still think McKinley's the team to beat in the Federal League. Then you come to Jackson and Green, two veteran quarterbacks. Anytime you start with two kids that have been around as long as those two kids have, you got to think they're going to make a run at a title.
Well, yeah, you got your signal caller's been back there for 3 years. He's been there. He understands what's going on. That's a huge advantage, especially when you're like Green, who runs a spread offense. But it's hard to go against McKinley just because of the numbers, the athletes, the tradition. I mean, they can get knocked off. It's happened in the past. But you got to see, what does this new coach want to do? What type of style of defense does he want to run? What type of style of offense? Make an adjustment to the Federal League. I mean, they've got talent there. They've won the league. It's, can they keep that going? It's hard to go against McKinley, even with a new first-year head coach.
That's a look at the Federal League for 2025. We're going to take a break, come back, and take a look at the Massillon Tigers right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Vera Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Vera Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
Altman is here for you, in your community, because you matter. We're proud to be the area's first and only independent health system. We are one team, joined together and committed to one mission, to lead our community to improved health. And we've always been here, dedicated to providing you with the very best in care, wellness, education, insurance, and more. For your community and for your family, Altman is always here for you.
Certified by the American Lighting Association, Furbay's Light Shop is your go-to for all lighting needs, residential, commercial, or industrial. Our experts assist with every detail, from bulb size and fixture type to designing layouts. Visit us for hands-on displays showcasing various fixtures, or log in to furbay.com/lightshop. Let us help you visualize the perfect light for your space. Whether you need advice or want to explore lighting options, stop by or log in to Furbay's Light Shop today and see how we can brighten your project.
Welcome back to a special edition of Big Time Sports. Joe Dunn along with the professor, Troy Richardson, as we preview the 2025 high school football season right here in Stark County. The spotlight in Stark County and throughout the state of Ohio, always on the Massillon Tigers. Last year, head coach Nate Moore was 11-3. They lost to Big Walnut 14-7 in the D2 playoffs. A little bit of surprise there, Troy, but they open up at home August 22nd. Against one of the better teams in the state, Glenville. Wish I could be at that game. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. The big question right now, who's going to be the quarterback at Massillon? They've got three candidates, senior Eli Moore, junior Manny Patterson, and a good sophomore named Rasmus Haynes. But I'm not sure Massillon will be as good as last year. I think they'll get better as the season goes along. But, boy, they lost a lot of good players off that team last year.
They may have lost some players, but it just seems like with Coach Moore there, they just reload every year.
Yeah.
They just keep finding more bullets for the gun, keep putting players in, they keep developing them, they find them. And that's the thing for the Tigers. Until somebody can knock off the Tigers, they got to be your pick to be the #1 team in Stark County.
I agree. They got a real good running back in Xavier Owens, and I think their defense will be very good, especially in the secondary, where they have a lot of talent, a lot of veteran leadership. They only play two Stark County teams the entire season. They play Glen Oak and McKinley. They've got kind of a nationwide schedule. It's hard to schedule, and Massillon seemingly only wants to play home games, Troy.
Well, I mean, you look at it, it's hard, but, some teams don't want to play them. I look for them, maybe, if what Coach Rohr said about wanting to beef up his schedule, maybe Jackson ends up playing the Tigers here in a year or two. I mean, that game would make sense. I mean,
Yeah.
biggest school as Jackson is, you're right by there with Massillon. I think it'd be a great gate for both of those schools. So I could see them a year or two down the road, once that schedule maybe works it out there, that I could see Jackson wanting to do that and the Tigers wanting to do that as well.
I think Massillon will get better and better as the season rolls along when they establish who the quarterback is. By the time they get to Week 10 in McKinley, I think they're going to be a very good football team. They'll be tough to beat in the playoffs. Right now, let's take a look at the Eastern Buckeye Conference. The big question, can anybody slow down West Branch? The Warriors hammered everybody last year. Troy, they went over 60 points twice, over 50 points once. They've got one of the better quarterbacks in the state coming back in Jeremiah Thomas. He had counted for 44 touchdowns himself last year, either passing or rushing. They've got it going out at West Branch.
And they got a high-octane offense
Yeah.
going there. They can put some points up the board. The rest of the EBC, they're trying to play catch-up with them.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring their programs back to once were. But West Branch, their numbers are good, and that's a huge advantage once you get to the lower divisions like Division 3 and 4.
Tell you how good West Branch, they got into the playoffs last year. They got matched up with Glenville, only lost 13-0 to a high-powered Glenville team. That tells me all I need to know about West Branch, how tough they are.
Yeah, Glenville's obviously a very, very good football team, but the Warriors want to come back. They want to get another win in the EBC, and they want to try to progress a little further in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this is the team that can go deep into the playoffs. Keep your eyes on West Branch. How about the rest of the EBC? How about the Alliance Aviators? Head coach Tim Goodman, I think, will have a very explosive team. How about senior quarterback J.R. Jackson? Threw for 1,273 yards passing, ran for 486. They got a good running back in Rayvon Hawkins. Alliance always has skill. They always scary a little bit with their wide receivers and the running backs. They just got to be able to stop people.
Well, they got to be able to stop people, but they also have to, keep the Alliance kids at Alliance.
Yeah.
They've lost some kids transferring to other schools, some very good skill position, and a few linemen. And that's going to be one of the things for Coach Goodman, keeping those Alliance kids at Alliance and keeping that program developed, trying to bring it back to what it once was.
Yeah, Alliance has to survive their first 3 games, their murderous first 3 games. They got to play at Padua, home to Louisville, and at a good Streetsboro team. So those first 3, you got to be able to survive that.
Yeah, Streetsboro is a team that's been in the Division 5 playoffs for about the last 4 out of the last 5 years.
Carrollton always tough, especially when you got to get to Carrollton. They love the Warriors down in Carrollton. They were 4-1 in the EBC last year. They'll be trying to catch up to West Branch. As far as Marlington, Marlington has seemingly always a quarterback by the name of Advantage. They got another one. He comes back. Cameron Advantage is going to lead the Dukes. The road schedule is a huge challenge. Marlington will play at Warren JFK, at Carrollton, at West Branch, and at Salem. I mean, that's a murderous away schedule.
Well, there's always an Evanich there in some type of sport at Marlington. Now we've got the Evanich there at quarterback. They're going to try to divide, once again, numbers game.
Yeah.
You got to get the athletes out. You got to get them playing football. When you can get the numbers out, it makes your job as a coach so much easier.
One of my favorite coaches, we have him on every year, former coach at Perry, now down at Minerva. I hope Zach Slates gets down at Minerva and hopefully turns that thing around. He's a good guy, good coach, and Minerva needs somebody to come in and turn that whole thing around.
I mean, there's a lot to turn around down there. It's like they say, it's not easy to turn an aircraft carrier around. It takes a while to get it turned. And right now he's dealing with a Nautilus class carrier there. That's a sub actually.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, you got to get that taken care of. And once again, numbers you got to get the athletes out. And right now at Minerva, when you lose, the athletes don't want to play.
You're right.
Winning will help cure a lot of those problems.
Exactly. We're going to take a break, come back and take a look at the Louisville Leopards and a quick look at the Pack right after this.
The all-new 2026 Chevy Equinox is here at Bear Chevrolet Toyota. Sleek, smart, and ready for summer fun. With advanced tech, bold styling, and room for the whole crew, it's the perfect ride for every adventure. Stop in today, take a spin, and see why everyone's talking about the new Equinox. Bear Chevrolet Toyota on the Wabash in New Philadelphia.
This moment, it's a choice. To find out what you're made of. To own what's in front of you no matter what that might be. We showed up, we're here. This moment belongs to us right now.
It's always that personal touch that they know you.
Primetime has people that can help you through every step of the way, and when you're my age, you need that extra help.
You don't want a lot of questioning when you're already dealing with a medical issue. Primetime is trying to help us get down the road as long as we can.
And if you're not in the right situation, a senior can lose everything. I feel with Primetime, we picked the best program.
Hope you're enjoying our look at 2025 Stark County High School football. Have about 3 minutes left in the show. A quick comment about the Louisville Leopards, who I think Chris Kappas is turning that program around. He's doing a great job over at Louisville. They'll be joining the All-American Conference in 2026. This year, they've got one of the better offensive lines in all of Stark County. They start with 6'7", 290-pound Aiden Norris and 6'4", 270-pound Trevor Burrick. They're going to be good out there. Opening game at New Philly, a game you can watch right here on Big Time Sports. If they get that road win at New Philly, I think Louisville's in for a good year.
Yeah, I tell you, I like to start everything from the middle of the field, start it with the offensive and defensive line. And right there, when you got that kind of size up front, that can make a lot of things easier for a play caller.
Exactly. A lot of talented sophomores and juniors out at Louisville. Coach Kappas doing a good job. Look for them to continue on that upward trend this year and in the future. How about a quick look at the pack? It's going to be Manchester and Triway. In fact, I think the October 10th game at Triway between Manchester and the Triway Titans will determine the pack championship. Coach Stacy over at Northwest has done a great job. He was the coach of the year in Northeastern Ohio last year. They returned one of the better running backs in Phil Parton. Meanwhile, down at Triway, how about quarterback Luke Starr? Accounted for 3,635 yards last year running and throwing the football. They're a load down there at Triway this year.
Well, first off, you got to love when your quarterback's name is Starr.
Yes.
And I know the Stars, there's been some athletes there in the past at Triway in some different sports with the name Starr. But when you got a quarterback like that can run, that can pass, throw, do it all, that's a big thing for your offense.
Yeah. Down at Fairless, our good friend AJ Sarbaugh will be trying to get back into the playoff picture and get them back in the playoff hunt. Meanwhile, Northwest veteran quarterback John DeMarco will have the Indians, I think, playing good football again. Canton South under Matt Dennis, I think, will be improved from what they did last year. Meanwhile, Canton Central Catholic, they have a lot of talent coming back. They lost a lot. Big Jonathan Stengel, 6'8", 310, is down at Miami now playing back football.
Yeah, all those teams you talked about are good. We'll get to see Canton Central Catholic against Perry
in week 1, yeah.
Week 1 on a Thursday night. AJ Sarbaugh does a great job with the Fairless Falcons. He's going to keep the numbers up. He's going to keep them on the right way, doing things the right way as well.
Troy, get yourself a lot of rest, because when the football season starts 2 weeks from tonight, you won't get a lot of rest. You'll be out there covering high school football all season long. 3 games open up the season, beginning on Thursday, the 21st. I'll be over at Central Catholic, Perry at Central Catholic. The next night, Indian Valley at Green, Louisville at New Philly. For Troy Richardson, my name's Joe Dunn. To see you back here next week when Jay Rohr and the Jackson Polar Bears will be our guests. Look forward to a great 2025 season, and have a great week, everybody.